What's up, folks? Yeah, tonight is the finale of Dark Side of the Ring season two. Um, and we started off season two with Chris Benoit, and we're ending season two with Owen Hart from the legendary Hart family. With just generations of just icons that come from this family. And this episode was titled "The Final Days of Owen Hart." And it's emotional, to be honest, because there's just did a lot, and I have my own memories for this, and kind of hearing about how this all came into place, and my own personal feelings about it. Um, no one wants to see anybody die. No one wants to see nobody die before they reach their full potential in life, yet or just die. Period. Yet alone. But I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna try to cover this and review this for you guys, as this is the finale for season two. So Jericho being on this episode, we finally seen Jericho outside of just narrating. Since the first episode, you knew it was going to be a big deal. But if anybody's not familiar with Owen Hart, watching clips that they're showing on here, how can you just not tell how great he was? He was way before his time. Just that footage was just epic. And, Owen Hart was as legit as they came. And for me, Owen and Brett, they were like Ken and Ryu to me, both equally talented. Owen being the younger, but keeps up with the iconic Brett, even better in some instances. In my style of wrestling, my type of wrestler, Owen was just it in all shapes and form. I mean, the guy was just legit. I can't emphasize that enough. But this episode, we got to hear from his wife Martha and the two kids, and I thought that was everything for them to be on this. I'm glad that they were able to do so. And we really got to hear some really personal stories and testimonies from them, along with other people within the business as well. If you're not familiar with Owen Hart, I suggest you do go back and watch WrestleMania 10. Owen and Brett at Madison Square Garden, like they said on the episode. That is a wrestling classic, and heel Owen was one of the best heels of all time. But outside of wrestling, because when I was younger, it was just wrestling. Was no really behind the scenes. There was really no knowing the family or anything of that sort. But hearing how he was just a true family man, it spoke volumes to me. Hearing how he thought life beyond wrestling. He didn't just want to do wrestling. He just wanted to just support his family. And there's so much footage of him saying that. So, typically, people like to speak on behalf of some people about things. But it was just all there. He spoke, everything he did was for his family. That's a hero. No matter how you look at it, that's a hero. And then we know about the Montreal Screwjob and, how that influenced Brett's career to leave WWF, to go to WCW. And I remember Owen Hart and Jim coming out to the ring to kind of console him after that had happened. But I had no clue. I knew Brett was leaving. We knew, and then others left to go to the rival company WCW. But I had no clue, ultimately, that's the reason why, WWF was like, hey, we got to keep one of these Hearts. And that ultimately gave Owen a new contract. So, like, to hear, like, that connection is kind of like, yeah, so. But, WWE had a reputation for having so many good wrestlers, technical wrestlers, but just absolutely not knowing what to do with them at all. And it just was no surprise Owen Hart being in that same conversation of them just not knowing what to do, which ultimately made them, they tried different things and it didn't stick. Owen spoke out for himself. He didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize his image or just a bad look on his family. Again, he's just a business. He's a family man over business, and that just speaks volumes. But when he took back on the gimmick of the blue blazer, which was just something I love the blue blazer. I mean, the cash line I would never forget. Take your vitamins, say your prayers, and drink your milk. I would never, just stuff like that. You would just never forget. But as a child, me and my neighbor every week, or every pay-per-view, excuse me, we would get together and we'll watch it. In 1999, Over the Edge versus The Godfather, same old thing. Time for pay-per-views, go to his basement and we watch it. And I would never forget that in my life, because even as a child, you're just like, wait, this isn't right. And I was a little bit older than my neighbor, so much I treated my neighbor like my little brother. I was so confused, and I tried to act like I know what was happening, but it was just the most bizarre thing ever, because Owen was supposed to come to the ring, and I remember the camera was trying to come down, then it just panned away, and all they showed was the crowd, and it was this really eerie mute that was going on, like that background noise mute. And it was just crowd. They was just viewing the crowd for a long time. Just had no clue what was going on. But I'll never forget them showing Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross, and even seeing the footage on this episode, just the same emotions, just like, wow. And then when Jim Hart had to break, and then when Jim Ross had to break the news about him dying, I remember being devastated as well. Like, what? Like, this doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It's wrestling. These are your heroes. And not one of our favorites. It's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. And now that I'm an adult and I know more about the business, I just cannot believe for the life of me that the show went on. Somebody died in the ring. Blood was on the ring still. And people lost their friends. Fans lost their heroes. Family lost their father. And the show went on. And WWE decided to cut their wages by hiring a second tier rigging crew instead of the top tier that they've been using the whole time. It's a tragedy. And I'll talk about it more in a second, but it's a tragedy. But Jim Cornette, a historian, love him or hate him, the guy knows his stuff. And Jim Cornette crying in this episode, it did it for me. It really did. It really did. And to be honest, I've never looked on the internet for pictures of this, or any of that, anything related to that, because it just, as a fan, that's just what I just did never want to relive it. But seeing the police photos and stuff as well from the set, the ring, the blood and everything, I was just dying. And at this moment, I looked at the time and I was like, wow, we're only 30 minutes in this episode. What more do they got? Because I just really can't. What else was in store for the next 30 minutes of this episode? But his wife, Martha, is just so incredibly strong. And I know when she got the call and she cried, I think on that May 23rd, the whole world cried. I cried because we lost the legend, they lost the father, an icon, somebody that was just going to grow and just. It's the type of person, that's the type of character, it's that type of positivity that, the world, we need more of, and we lost one way too soon. But I commend his wife on everything, because she's a true warrior and hero herself, because she stepped up big time. She wiped away her tears, she lifted up her head, and she said that she was going to continue his legacy, take care of the family, and provide for them, and make sure that they would have the day in reckoning and figure out the truth and bring justice. So when she started doing her investigating, and she looked at the clip, the sailboat clip at that was supposed to hold the harness from the rigging crew, it's just absolute blasphemy. There's no way possible you can tell me that was supposed to hold the person and that anybody think that it was going to work. You look at it, a grown man, I don't even know what his weight was, but I know it wouldn't even hold me, and I know I'm significantly smaller. And you mean to tell me that was supposed to hold a person? It was designed 100% to fail. That's why it's a sailboat clip, not a human harness clip. And the fact that they decided to cut their wages and go with a new strategy on a new day, it just made no sense. If it's not broke, don't fix it. period. And we lost somebody because of this. There's no way. You look at the old Harness pictures and clips, you see the difference. And then you see that little quick release because they said the other one was janky. It's so janky, it cost somebody's life. It's absolutely... The dude even had no experience. It just makes no sense. But in her trying to pursue justice, she wanted to sue Vince McMahon and WWE. And it brings me... It's no surprise that the Hart family, some was against it, and some was just hands off because they knew that WWE was going to be signing checks for that family for years to come, and then the widow was just the outcast, and it's no surprise that some of them worked against her. I just really can't believe that. And all she wanted to do was get justice and provide for her kids. And although she did get a settlement of a large amount, it just really wasn't about that for her. And the last thing for this episode is the Hall of Fame. Everybody wants Owen in the Hall of Fame, but I wholeheartedly respect the fact that she never wants Owen's name on any bit of metal plaque or anything from the company that ultimately ended her husband's life. And they decided to honor him in the right way by doing humanitarian work, because he was always thinking life outside of wrestling. So I think this was the right thing for them, because they knew, and I feel from what I heard that that's the right thing, because he was always thinking beyond wrestling. Hall of Fame didn't mean anything to him, but the humanitarian work, the volunteering, the donations, giving people homes and stuff like that, that's the honor that he would have wanted. But I had a good time this entire season, from all the crazy stories, the ups and downs and emotions, and this is being the finale. It was a lot. I really hope you guys like this review. I'm sorry that the energy's down, but this is really emotional. Owen was one of my favorites, and I know a lot of people have their favorites, whether it been Eddie, Chris, if you was a fan of him inside the ring, whatever it may have been. But Owen was definitely mine. Owen was must-watch TV. He was the hero, the Blue Blazer. I mean, say your prayers and take your vitamins and drink your milk. But I can't wait to see what they do for season 3 Dark Side of the Ring. This has been a good season. Hats off to Vice for doing this, and Chris Jericho. And until then, y'all, we'll see what's next to cover. But take care, and everybody be safe. Big gold bell.